Hello, my dear friends. It's so good to have you here again. Today, we're talking about something that's been misunderstood for years. Something people think is shallow, but actually goes deep into the heart. It's about giving and receiving gifts. But not the kind you see in glossy magazines. Not the kind that comes wrapped in gold paper. I'm talking about the kind of gift that says, I see you. I know you. I love you. Now, you may be thinking, I'm not materialistic. Or, I don't need presents to feel loved. And that might be true for you. But for some people, a gift is more than just an object. It's a symbol. It's like a little anchor for love. It says, I remembered you. I chose this for you. And for those people, that's powerful. Let me tell you a little story. There's a man named Arthur. Arthur was married to Grace for over 40 years. Grace never cared much for flowers, or so Arthur thought. One day, on their wedding anniversary, he brought her a small bunch of daisies from the yard. Nothing fancy. Just flowers in his hand. Grace's eyes filled with tears. Why? Because Arthur had remembered the daisies she carried in her hair the day they met. That bunch of flowers wasn't worth much money. But it was priceless to her. For some people, a gift is like a snapshot of love. It's a physical reminder they can hold on to. They see it, they touch it, and they feel loved again. And that feeling lasts far longer than the moment it was given. Now, I know some of you might be thinking, but I'm on a fixed income. I can't be buying gifts all the time. And here's the truth. It doesn't have to cost a thing. A seashell from the beach. A pebble from a walk you took together. A handwritten note tucked into a coat pocket. These are gifts too. In fact, they can be even more meaningful than anything bought in a store. When a person's main way of feeling loved is through receiving gifts, they're not asking for diamonds or gold. They're asking for thoughtfulness. For a physical sign that says, you matter to me. Let's think about this for a moment. Imagine you have a friend who travels. One day, they bring you a small magnet from a town you've never been to. It costs them maybe $1. But every time you open the fridge and see it, you think of them. That's how gifts work for people whose heart speaks this language. Of course, misunderstandings can happen. Let's say your partner loves receiving gifts, but you think, we don't need that stuff cluttering the house. You might skip the little gestures without realizing the emotional gap it creates. They may feel you've forgotten them. Not because you have, but because their way of feeling loved isn't being spoken. Now, let me share a gentle reminder. Sometimes we give gifts in the way we like to receive them, not in the way our partner understands them. Maybe your way is words, you say, I love you often. But your partner's way is receiving gifts. They might appreciate your words, but still feel something missing. It's like speaking English to someone who understands French, the meaning gets lost. There's also something special about surprise gifts. Unexpected moments. Like baking their favorite cookies, just because. Or finding an old song they love and burning it onto a CD. Little things, done with care, speak louder than expensive things done without thought. I once knew a woman named Betty. Her husband worked long hours and rarely had time for big romantic gestures. But every week, without fail, he'd bring her a single rose on Friday evening. Over 30 years, that rose became their tradition. Betty said she didn't care if they ever went on a fancy vacation. That rose, every Friday, told her more than any trip could. Friends, if you've been with me a while, you know I always like to pause here and ask you to reflect. If you have someone in your life who treasures gifts, big or small, when was the last time you gave them one? Not for a birthday. Not for Christmas. Just because. Think about what that might mean to them. And if you're enjoying this talk, I'd love for you to like this video. It helps others find it, and it lets me know you're still with me. You can also subscribe, so we can keep having these gentle conversations together. Now, let's talk about how to give better gifts. One of the best ways is to pay attention to what your loved one notices or comments on. Do they admire a neighbor's garden? Bring them a small plant. Do they always smile at the sound of wind chimes? Find a little set for the porch. The secret is in listening and observing. If you're unsure, remember, the best gift is often something that carries a shared memory. If you both love the beach, maybe it's a framed photo of your last trip. If you used to walk in the park, maybe it's a jar filled with pine cones from that path. It's the thought behind the gift that makes it powerful. But here's something important. Some people think they're bad at giving gifts. If that's you, let me reassure you. You can learn this. It's not about being perfect. It's about being present. Sometimes, a gift isn't even a thing you can hold. It can be an experience. Inviting someone for tea. Taking them for a slow drive down memory lane. Cooking their favorite meal. These are gifts too, and often, they're the ones remembered the longest. Now, friends, before we wrap up, I want to say this. If gifts are not your way of feeling loved, you might underestimate their power. But for someone whose heart speaks this language, a gift is like water to a thirsty plant. Without it, love feels dry. With it, love blooms. So, think about the people in your life. Is there someone who keeps small mementos? Someone who treasures cards or souvenirs? That's a sign this might be their love language. Why not surprise them? You never know, that one little act could brighten their day, or even change the course of your relationship. Thank you for spending this time with me today. Remember, love isn't just felt, it's shown. And sometimes, it's shown in the shape of a gift. If this message has touched your heart, share it with a friend. Someone out there might need to hear it today. Until next time, take care, keep loving, and never give up on showing it.